Hi there folks, we're Travel with Johnny and Will, and this vlog is all about our day 6. We're currently on board Marella Discovery 2 doing our Spanish Flavours cruise, and today we are docked in the port of Cartagena. So,
this morning we went for breakfast in 47. Here is a quick look at the menu and a picture of everything that was on offer. So I just had my usual fruit and cereal, and you had your Bircher muesli.
oh yes.
And a little bit of a cooked selection.
Yeah, I was down for poached eggs. They were a bit overdone.
Yeah, I think you thought the hot food wasn't amazing.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Although you had the French toast, and it looked quite good.
Yes.
It was like 2 big wedges on the plate with the maple syrup.
Yeah, that was good actually.
So after breakfast, we came back to the cabin and got our backpack and things ready, and we decided then just to head into the town. We had been chatting to one of the entertainment hosts last night, and he was sort of telling us that the main town is literally just a short walk from where you're actually docked. So basically, you took a stroll off the ship, and as soon as you sort of leave like the port sort of area, you turn left at the marina and you make your way then into the town. So as soon as you literally pass, there's like a bar, a restaurant, and like a Burger King
facing the marina. Yeah.
And then basically once you pass that building where the sort of Burger King is, there's a crossing there, literally just cross the street, and you're basically at the start of the town centre.
So also right at this point there is the entrance to the Roman Theatre. There's a way of doing it without paying, and there's a way of doing it obviously through the museum and then into the actual Roman Theatre. So we paid €7 each, well worth a visit. This is a very modern museum attached to obviously the historic Roman Theatre, and it's definitely worth doing. It really tells about the story of how the Roman Theatre was built over. And in 1991 then they started uncovering the actual original Roman Theatre, and then until today it's all basically uncovered, and then there's different artifacts and stuff within the museum. It's all very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think going through the museum itself, it sort of gives you that bit of a history of, you know, who built it, where it was built, and all the rest of it, and the different parts of the theatre, and what they were sort of used for. And then obviously you go through like a tunnel bit really, then you know, that opens then out into the theatre, and you just sort of step out and you're kind of like, wow.
Yeah, so here is a look of the masterpiece.
As Will said earlier, you don't actually have to pay to see the theatre. Obviously, the reason why you're paying the €7 is obviously for the museum sort of part first. You can take a bit of a longer walk, which is up a hill, and then you sort of like peer over the perimeter wall.
Yeah.
And you will sort of see it all, but I personally feel, well, number one, €7, you know, considering we didn't have to have like a hike up a hill in the heat, and number two, I just sort of thought like, taken back by the fact that we were able to stand like the stage area,
the actual grounds,
and look up at what the, you know, at what the theatre was and where everybody would have been sitting. And I think from memory it like held, was it like 11,000 or something it was supposed to have held?
Really?
Yeah, I just think, as Will said, you know, to actually be there, standing on the sort of stage area, sort of standing up, you know, looking down at the stage and things like that, it was well worth the money that we paid. The other thing just to remember is that in terms of accessibility, the museum is fully accessible, and whenever you get out into the theatre part, you know, wheelchair users, people with limited mobility, could definitely get out to that point. However, it is uneven, obviously, and then there is quite steep steps if you're wanting to go down to the stage and sort of go up sort of the upper levels. You know, I've got wee legs, and like some of the steps I sort of found getting up, and there's no handrails in the steps because obviously they didn't think about that in Roman times, so they're not going to, you know, start to disrupt, you know, by you know, the area by putting in like handrails and things like that. So it is just making sure you keep that in mind and take care of using those steps.
So after this, we went further into the town, just along the beautiful marble-lined streets. Well, I think they're marble, very slippy and
yeah, but like they look nice.
Stone, yeah, really nice. And actually, whilst we were there yesterday, they were starting to put up some of the Christmas decorations, and they used sort of different style. Like they had a crown, which we wouldn't use a crown as a Christmas decoration, and then on the lampposts they had other little sparkly decorations. And whereas ours would be all lit with lights, they actually wanted the decoration to look pretty, which I thought was really nice. And it would be so nice to come at night, but unfortunately we had to leave.
So as we walked down the streets, Will's nose was like, oh, there's something very sweet in the air, and he gets in, and we were then drawn to this shop called Sabor España, and so basically it was sort of like a taste of Spain, so to speak, and we went in, and there was a lady at the first counter, and she was like, oh, you want to try? And she had like loads of samples of like different kinds of like sort of fudge nugget kind of, you know, fudge and nugget, and then there was like different kinds of nuts
Flavors
and things,
stuff.
and of course we had to, you know, have to taste the goods, and but of course then we were hooked. So we were then trawling around the shop, trying to find the bits and pieces that we wanted. The staff in it were very helpful as well.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't find actually some of the things that we wanted. One of the nugget things you had was strawberry.
Strawberry, yeah. And then the little fudgy thing that you had was like almondy, and then one of them was marzipan-y as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and but yeah, the thing was like they were really trying their hardest to get more people into the shop, you know, with free samples, and some people I think thought it was a bit of a scam or something, but oh my goodness, the food was
and actually the price at the end for what we got, it wasn't expensive in any way, really, for what would be a touristy area. We thought it was good.
Yeah. So of course we left with some treats and for ourselves, and some treats for the lady that's minding our pups. So as we kept on walking just further into the town itself, we had passed this beautiful church. So we went in to sort of one side of the church. There was prayers going on the other side. So we went into sort of one half of the church, and it was absolutely beautiful. But we moseyed on again through the streets. There's plenty of shops as well. So for anybody who's wanting to sort of do a bit of shopping, there's plenty of like souvenir shops. There was like there was clothing shops. There was like places
like chemistry,
a few chemists and things like that. There was a perfume shop. So there is a, you know, for people that want to even just go and do a bit of shopping, yeah, you can totally do that here.
After this, we just stopped for a coffee. Well, you had a cappuccino.
Yeah.
And I just had a Coke Zero, and I actually had these little balls of flavoured cake.
They were called bombitos, I think.
Or Papalinos?
No, bombitos.
Really?
Bombitos, yeah.
And then you had a cake,
which
was
like
very light.
Oh, it was. It was like a, you know, like the Lotus. It was like, you know, the Lotus biscuits, like the coffee flavored biscuits. It was like a coffee cake.
Biscoff?
Yeah, Biscoff. Yeah, Biscoff. And so it was like a Biscoff cake, and it was really light, and sort of like the buttercream. Oh yeah, it was very good.
And just for reference, in case you wanted to visit this shop, it was called Kuss, Kuss.
And definitely, again, for the size of the slab of cake that I got and the drinks and everything, it was very cheap.
Yeah.
It was, I think, was it like €12? So which I sort of thought was reasonable, like, you know, price considering back home in the UK you'd easily pay £4 for a cup of coffee.
For coffee, yeah.
So
at this point we decided to retrace our steps and head back to the ship. And by the time we got to near the marina, it was starting to get really, really warm.
It was nice.
And I think in one of the temperature things it might have said like 23 degrees or something.
It was lovely.
So for this time in November, not too shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see this whole marina area on the way back. It was just glistening, wasn't it? Like the ship was just, it was just so pretty. Yeah. And
Marella Discovery too, I think, is a pretty looking ship.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice looking.
But then we love all of the Marella ships with that sort of blue and the dark blue and the light blue and the white.
The wave sort of design throughout it. Also in port was one of the Silver Seas ships. I think it was
Silver Ray.
Ray. Yeah. And I was surprised actually at the size of that ship. It nearly looked as if it was the same size, or just a little bit smaller than Discovery. I was just really surprised by the size of it. I always thought those were like smaller, more intimate vessels, but the actual vessels were large.
So once we got back on board, we dumped our backpack and things in the cabin and then headed to the island's buffet, which is just 2 decks above us, just for a quick bite to eat for lunch. I actually sort of had like a bit of a mixed sort of salad. I sort of made up, the salad bar is really extensive. And I sort of just got a plate and started putting bits and pieces on my plate of salad. After that, I then tried, there was like a pork belly bap, but I think got most of the fat really and hardly any pork, so I didn't really eat much of it, to be honest. But everybody else's looked good. But it was sort of served in a bap then with gravy and carrots and things like that. But I ate the carrots and what little bit of the pork there was.
Yeah, I had a salad as well, and I really enjoyed the French dressing over everything. I like a salad like chopped, and I was like I was making it into a dog's dinner, as Johnny would call it, but it was really good. And then I also had a little bowl of soup.
Sailaway was a bit earlier yesterday. We were sort of leaving just after 4 o'clock to make our way to our next port, which is Gibraltar. So there was, because obviously we were leaving and it was the afternoon and the sun was shining, there was a Sailaway party being held up on the pool deck. So we decided to go up and give that a go. And basically everybody was really in such a party, as in the party mood and spirits. Of course, in true Marella fashion, they split the pool deck in 2, and obviously the cruise director was sort of like the team captain of one side, and one of the entertainment hosts was team captain for the other side. And obviously they played different party tunes, and they wanted the sides to sort of compete against each other with singing and dancing and things like that. And the loser then had to jump into the pool. And we'll insert the footage now so you can see who the loser was.
And just another thing to mention about Cartagena is the port's quite tricky to get into. There's like 2 big breakwall or breakwater things, and the ship basically had to do a 180 and then like navigate its way out. So we actually went to the front of the ship just to watch that and make sure, we were the ones making sure it wouldn't hit the rocks.
Because it was totally within our control.
But it was really nice up there actually. There was a lot of other people doing that, and I think it was just because it was during the daytime we got to sail away, which we haven't really got to do so much in this cruise. It's been more sailing away in the night, and you don't see the same things happening, so that was nice.
Plus our balcony on deck 7, there's like a bit that sort of comes out beneath it, so you can't actually sort of see down beneath you into the water, which is sort of good if you're on deck 6 in a balcony cabin, because then
you're right at the edge.
You're right at the edge, plus then you've got privacy from the decks above you. But obviously for us, sometimes we like a good nosy over the side.
So it did make it quite difficult to see the ropes going out, so you can't really see anything going on port side once you get close. So as this ship was built in the 90s, there's certain parts of it that do look a lot older than others. Obviously, they've redone the deluxe balcony cabins, and this cabin doesn't look anywhere near its age. But the lifts that are near our cabin at the front of the ship do look old. They do look like something from the 80s, nearly. So here's a little look at what I'm meaning about, and like the way the buttons are, and they are quick enough. They just do not look old, or they just do not look that new. Yeah,
but again, we haven't, anytime that we've used the lifts, we haven't really had to wait long for them either. They are quick enough, and like it does seem a busy cruise. But like, although we're situated, we haven't probably used the lifts that often, because where our cabin is situated, we find it very easy, because obviously if you're going to the theatre, yes, you're say 3 or 4 decks,
3 down,
3 down. So it's just easy to take the stairs sometimes, and then waiting on the lift. And again, for coming back up, it's not like climbing a mountain really.
And then the pool deck's 2 up, so we're 7, and the pool deck's on 9, and also the buffet is on 9 as well. So yeah, everything's at your hand if you're on deck 7.
Yeah.
So we came back to the cabin, and whilst we were in the cabin, we recognised on the Marella Navigate app that Piccadilly's was having a different menu. Now, we loved Piccadilly's the first time, so they were having a different menu. We had a look at it and we thought, yes, tonight we're going to go back to Piccadilly's because we enjoyed it so much the first time.
Yeah, and this is actually a new restaurant that has only started this week, and it is like sort of British classics, but with a twist.
So here's a look at the menu. Let us know what you would have.
So before you start anything, basically they serve you up. Tonight it was a little tray, a little plate with 3 tiny little sort of finger rolls. They were sort of tiny, but we split each of them just in half. And they were basically a spinach one, a beetroot one, and a mixed seed.
Yeah.
And then they had 3 butters. There was a garlic butter, a peppered butter, and a Marmite butter.
Which we didn't touch.
But the other 2 were delicious. So basically they give you that before you even decide on what you want to eat.
So for the starter, I had the soup this time. I was quite intrigued because Johnny had it last time, and it was served inside a bread cob, roll, round, loaf, whatever you want to call it. And it was potato and leek. And here's just a picture of me making sure that the bowl is actually waterproof. But yes, the soup was really nice, and it's weird, you get to like nearly scrape the bread off whilst you're eating the soup. So it was really, really good, and really sort of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, for me, I had this dish called the chicken or the egg. So basically it was nearly like a chicken kind of terrine, and then on top of it there was like a poached egg that was like covered in breadcrumbs and fried. And Will's face.
Doesn't sound good.
And obviously when I cut in, the poached egg was just, it was lovely and soft, and yeah, that was amazing. I loved it. So for me, we both had the same thing, which was Angus beef and Yorkshire pudding, and oh my goodness, it was absolutely terrible. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It was absolutely amazing. The beef just fell apart.
The beef was so tasty. Like there's no other word.
Yeah, and it was so good that even Will's t-shirt wanted some of it.
Yeah, I accidentally dropped a bit of the meat and it splattered into the gravy, and I was wearing a white t-shirt, and it was just like
and normally that's always me.
Yeah.
Normally, like even in the mornings if we go for breakfast, I normally wear the t-shirt I wore the night before because I know that I'm going to spill something down it.
But yeah, that was really nice, really unexpected to have like that sort of a roast, and the wee potatoes again that you liked from the first visit.
Yeah,
they were really good.
Yeah, and the Yorkshire pudding too was lovely. But yes, so then for dessert, I had the Jaffa cake. And now it wasn't round like a Jaffa cake, so I couldn't do the whole, full moon, half moon, total eclipse.
It was
but
more like
it was a rectangle,
a slice.
But it was absolutely yummy.
I had the warm apple fritters. They were pretty good. Like they were sugared, like sort of like a little donutty fritter thing.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
So we would really. We would really recommend trying out Piccadilly's. We're really impressed with the food, but we're also really impressed that that Marella have offer this as something that's included in the cost of your cruise, which is something that we feel that other cruise lines really lack.
Yeah.
Here. We are going to cover dining in another video, but like here you do have such a selection in terms of a main dining area. You've got your Italian, you've got your Piccadilly's, you've got the Glass House, you've got the Islands Buffet. So you're talking like 4 or 5 places just that's all included anyway.
In addition to your speciality additional 3 there.
Yeah, so it's definitely
so many places to eat.
Yeah.
Just one thing about last night, there was quite a delay between dinner and dessert. We don't really know what happened, but the restaurant got very busy.
Yeah.
And it was a good 30-40 minute delay between.
And then whenever we left, there was queues upon queues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think it is, though? I think that we're near the end of our cruise now, and I think people have maybe just cottoned on to the fact that Piccadilly's is something different.
Yeah.
And I think then everybody's busting to try and try it.
Because the guy was really nearly struggling. He was like, "Oh, just wait a minute.
We're trying to clear tables.
Clearing tables."
Do you know? And I think that it got to the point then where, rather than everybody sort of being sort of staggered and finishing at different times, I think with the delay in the food, it nearly felt as if what was going to happen was everybody was nearly going to finish their desserts at the same time and have a mass exodus. So then there would be like sort of 10 tables then for the staff to quickly clear and reset, to then sort of, deal with the backlog. So we like to eat early, so basically we didn't have any trouble getting in, and actually the guy had remembered us then from the previous evening we'd been there, which was always nice.
So due to the lateness in the dinner finishing, we couldn't make the first show. So we decided to go up to the Squid and Anchor and just chill for a bit. We got a seat at the bar, and our regular barman was there, and he was really friendly and asked us about our day. And we do love that about Marella staff. They always are interested in you, always asking how you are and how you're getting on and what you did. And that's just really nice.
Yeah. The Squid and Anchor is one of these bars where they have these funny glasses that never seem to empty. So when you're sitting at the bar, I always found that my glass never got empty. There was always a gin put into it. So, which is a good thing in terms of the service, but a bad thing because you sort of nearly forget how much you've actually drank. And before you know it, Will's 6 bottles of Asahi in, and doesn't really remember ordering more than the first one.
There was good service.
So and actually then in the Squid there was a guy called Mojito, was it?
Yeah, playing real chilled vibes.
Yeah, really, really nice. There wasn't a huge pile of people in there, but as we sort of sat on, we noticed that it did start to get busy then, as there was a game show that was starting. What was the game show called?
The game show was called Play It By Ear.
Yes. So the cruise director hosted it. Again, there was a lot of flip-flops being handed out.
Yeah, a lot of splitting the room in half, a lot of
singing,
shouting.
A lot of dancing, and a great choir. But it was really good crack, and it was really, there was such a great atmosphere in that bar.
Yeah, and we just there was a guy that had come up to us at the bar, and he said that his mum watched our videos every week.
Yep.
So we just wanted to give a shout out to Janice in Stirling, Scotland. So thanks for watching our videos, and thank you for giving us your support.
However, Janice, you really need to get your son to start watching them too, because he told us that he does not watch our videos. So come on, Janice, have a word with him, please. But yeah, great evening in the Squid and Anchor, and then we headed down to the Broadway Show Lounge then for the 10 o'clock show, which tonight was Ballroom Blitz.
So I sort of thought this show was going to be more really heavily based on the professional dancers, but they made it into such a big production, and it really showed the skills of all of the showcast team. But really, the highlight had to be all of the lifts and the twists and that Paolo and Sebastian can do, professional dancers.
Yeah, like he literally throws Paula up in the air and literally...
But as you say, she throws herself into the air.
I think she throws herself, you know what I mean? Because she just is super fit, and how they perform like that, I don't know. The other thing I really noticed was too, there is a guy in the showcast from Ireland called, I think it's Caelan.
Yeah,
I would hate if that's wrong, but last night it really just sort of showed us how talented he is, because he was mainly a dancer last night, and his dancing was superb as well. And obviously we know that he can sing.
But all the dancers are good.
Yeah, they really are. We've just been blown away this week by the showcast and the shows that they put on every night.
So here's a look at the Ballroom Blitz show.
Nothing in this whole wide world don't mean a thing if I ain't got you with me, baby. Sunrise,
So folks, that's the end of our vlog for today. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps us grow the channel, and we love it, and so does YouTube. And also, if you want to be alerted the next time we post a new video, which is usually every Friday evening, hit the bell icon to be alerted.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.